Greetings, Busho here, again from Flying Cloud Zen. And I'd like to talk just a couple minutes this time about the nature of the witness. The nature of the witness. Most of us who have practiced meditation even a couple of times, even if we're pretty new, already understand that part of what's happening when we sit down and do a period of formal meditation is we are reminding ourselves that we are the witness of our human experience, right? We're given some instruction like, pay attention to your breath, for example. Be really present to your breath. Notice the changing temperature. Notice the changing rhythm. Notice the changing depth. Notice the texture. Notice, right? Be the witness of the breath. And so slowly we begin to realize, oh, we're the observer of, we're the witness to, right? We're the beholder of our human experience. Wow, that's beautiful. Part of why we meditate is to remind ourselves that one of the functions of our consciousness is this vast open field, right? That just bears witness. And that part of the functioning of consciousness is to show up in a particular human shape, in a particular human form that has its own experience and has its own history and has its own karma and has its own conditioning, right? So part of why we meditate is just to remind ourselves of that wide open field, that function. That's consciousness as the wave instead of consciousness as just the particle, right? So we kind of have a sense. That's one of the things that all forms of meditation are beginning at least to address is, hey, your consciousness, remember that. You are consciousness. You are consciousness. You are that which witnesses, right? That which watches. We pretty much understand that pretty early. What I think takes a lot of refining, a lot more subtle awareness is that the nature of that watching, the nature of that witness is a stance of fundamental kindness. We can even say this is a loving witness, right? This is a loving observer. And the reason I think we get confused about this is because we are taught observe, notice when you wander, come back again. And that is correct instruction. If we're not careful, though, that can sound kind of clinical. It can sound like the sort of observation that we do in science, right? Impartial, distant, even disconnected. I'm observing from afar my body, my emotions, my thoughts. And the kind of witnessing that we're welcomed into, the kind of beholding that we're invited into, especially as our meditation practice deepens, is a type of witnessing that is very, very close, that in fact touches, holds, and embraces with great tenderness the human experience. It doesn't lose its awareness of being the observer any more than a mother forgets that she's the mother when she's holding her child. But the nature of the witnessing is tender. It's invested. It cares. It's involved with the story of the human that it watches, right? It isn't cold. Furthermore, certainly, it's not judgmental, disapproving, dividing. We know that. We know at best it should be loving. At worst, it should be at least non-judgmental, right? Hopefully on your worst day as a meditator, you're at least not judging. But on your best day as a meditator, we behold the experience that we're having with affection, with genuine care, right? I'm talking about this today a little bit because I'm aware that most of us use a meditation technique of some kind to keep awareness where we want it, right? We use counting the breaths, focusing on an object, focusing on beads or a mantra or a candle flame. We give ourselves some sort of object, right, upon which to focus. This is very helpful. It's a wonderful instruction. But if we misunderstand the instruction, we can start to believe that we focus on the object, or that we adopt the counting technique or something like that in order to control the thoughts. This is a misunderstanding. And the reason, in fact, that we focus on, for example, the breath, is to care for it, to help care for it. We return to something because we care, because we're invested, right? You can feel, I hope, the difference between the two senses around technique, right? Sense number one is, I'll give myself something to do here as a way of controlling the activity that might happen otherwise. The other way of looking at that is, no, I'm coming back to this thing because I'm involved with it and I care about it. My beholding is kind. My beholding is loving, right? I'm returning my awareness to something because I care about it. So the energy, right, that's informing this meditation technique is one of connection, right? It is not one of control. And I hope you can feel the difference there, because one of those things is loving and one of those things is actually subtly violent. It's a very subtle violence, but you can feel the controlling energy is still about trying to assert will over something. There you can feel it. There's violence. It's a very subtle violence, but nope, that's not what we're wanting meditation to be about. Meditation is about remembering we're the witness to the human experience, and it's a loving witness to the human experience. It is a witness that comes in and touches like this. That's what meditation is designed to cultivate, right? Compassion. Compassion. The wisdom of non-identification married with the open heart of compassion and the willingness to touch. That's what we're here to do. So if there's a flavor there of trying to control, you can feel there's a constriction in your heart. There's a constriction in your mind. So notice the nature of the witness, right? Notice that in your meditation. Say, hey, am I returning with kindness? Am I observing with kindness? Is there a way I could perhaps be a little softer about this? I'm not talking about sloppier. I'm talking about kind. Kind can be very firm, right? The limit that we place on where our mind goes can be just as firm as always, but the spirit in which we do it is one of fundamental kindness. The willingness to connect, the willingness to experience, right? I hope that's helpful. I hope that's helpful for you. Give it a whirl. Notice the nature of your witness and your meditation practice over the next days or weeks, and let me know what you learn. I hope it's helpful for you. Okay, we'll see you here next time. Thank you.